So, let me tell you something about buying an apartment in Brazil, right? See these square boxes here behind me? Well, I was looking to buy an apartment by the beach over there, like right in front of like a beachfront apartment with a huge balcony and all the amenities like marble floor, beautiful interior, beautiful kitchen, and everything you can think of. And so, long story short, when we arrived there, um, one guy whispered to me and said, the columns below is only pain. Like, the columns below is only pain. And so I was just like, oh man, here we go again. And then I started talking to the realtor, and we were getting information about the owner of the building, of the apartment I was trying to purchase from. And what happened is that the guy bought the apartment at the time for 600,000 reals, which is like a little bit over 500,000 reals, which is Brazilian currency. And then he was trying to sell it for 550 reais, 550, 100,000, 550 hundred thousands of reals, whatever they call it, which is like 500,000 reais. And so the lady that was talking to us tried to convince us to buy 2 apartments for a really good deal and 4 garage spaces. And so we started collecting information about this guy on why he's trying to sell and why is the guy is in a panic mode trying to sell it. So could you imagine trying to fool me and some of the people I know here? Like, when I arrived there, people was already giving me information. Like, before I even arrived there, people already gave me information about what is happening there. So as I was talking to the realtor about this apartment that we were trying to purchase, she started taking me to the entire building, showing me the buildings, different apartments there as well, different purchase options, because apparently the main guy that was trying to sell that balcony view beachfront apartment paid her like 10,000 reals to sell his apartment, all of his apartment, for extremely quickly. So she was trying to get as much revenues as she could by trying to sell his apartment. But there was other people that was offering her even more money to sell their apartments. So everybody on there was trying to get rid of their apartments. And so I was just playing, poker face, basically. Psychologically, I was just there waiting to figure out what is the goal here. What are they trying to accomplish here? So as I'm going to each floor of like this 300 apartment building, I see that there was like water damage on all the interior, the columns and everything you can think of, because the paint was popped out. Like, the paint was popped out. Like, there was a lot of water inside the columns and the walls as well. And so there was a lot of water damage on the apartment. And then we started collecting more and more information, so we started getting in touch with all the people we know here, like all the firefighters, all the building inspectors and everything you can think of. So apparently all the building inspectors every year or so, they go over all the buildings by the beach. They go to all the buildings by the beach there, and they do inspections to make sure that they're, upkeeping their buildings and things like that, to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen. And so they didn't pass the building inspection, and the building manager gave the inspector an apartment there if he keeps quiet, because that's the information we were gathering as much as possible here, through all sorts of like different networks of people that talk to one another here. So what happened is that they didn't pass the inspection. There was a lot of water damage on the building, and they basically paid the inspector and gave him an apartment there. And so we were looking at the owner of the building. We figured out that the owner of the building is basically a European guy from Portugal who was pulling about $500,000 a month there by overcharging people for their homeowners association fee for the entire apartment. It's like homeowners association. It's like apartment fee basically for everybody to upkeep all the building there, the entire building, so that water damage doesn't occur. Wow, that's really loud. Anyway, so all that money was going to Aera basically, and these people were panic selling to me cash price so that they can go back to Aera, back to Portugal. And basically they were trying to get away from that place. And so when I arrived there, my spooksy, or whatever you want to call it, already had all the information ahead of time. And they told me, under the building is only paint. There's only paint under the building. And the workers, the way the workers were there, the people that worked there, they were signaling to me like encrypted messages, like through body language. And because they were giving me encrypted information through body language and stuff like that, they were basically saying like, get away from this place, like get away from this. Like one lady stared at me like this, like almost like a horror movie. She was staring at me like this and drinking water, like that, like the whole time I was walking. Like she was just staring at me drinking water, like telling me like, hey, you're gonna drown here, like these people are gonna drown here, like these people are gonna drown here, there's water damage in the columns, like. And she was just drinking a lot of water, staring at me. And basically that's what's happening. There's a lot of segregation here in Brazil. A lot of Europeans from Spain and Portugal living a very fabulous lifestyle by the beachfront apartments, and they basically segregated the living crap out of the native population here in Brazil. And the guy who was taking like $500,000 is like this white guy with fake black hair. He dyed his hair black, and he dyed his eyebrow like this big, and he actually painted this, like he actually used his eyebrow to make it look huge and stuff like that. So that's what's it like in Brazil. And it's like one of those situations where you're just like, now I have to look for another apartment here because I'm trying to close on an apartment here. But all these people want to leave. All these people want to go back to Europe. Jeez, man. And they want to sell they took all the maintenance money, the $500,000 of reais, all that maintenance money for 5 to 10 years now. They didn't do a single maintenance on the building. They just launder everything back to Europe. Now the building is damaged. Now everybody's trying to sell that shit for whoever idiot buy that, and they were trying to sell it to me. Shit. So it's pretty crazy, huh? Pretty wild, man. Trying to sell me a water damaged building. Like, I can see when there's water damage in the columns and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what's happening, man. It's absolute bullshit, man. Biggest bullshit ever. But I'm glad I'm in good hands. I got a bunch of people telling me information ahead of time. And I gotta figure out what else is in store for me here, because the entire European Union is here. And it's just like these people need to go back to Europe, man. Like, take your shit and just go back to Europe. Like, the reason why there's so much shit in this nation is because of all these Europeans here. Like, the same shit happened in the US. Like, they create this consolidation of socialist control over a small proportion of cities and state and counties on their properties. And then they corrupt everything, destroy the buildings, destroy everything. And then they have the guts to blame on the native population who's being enslaved for a while. And all they want is a better life for themselves, better community, better everything, you know? It's like, bro, like, get your shit and go to fucking Europe. Go to the US, man. They love white people there. Like, take your shit, take all your $500,000 of Rios here and get the fuck out. Like, they were supposed to maintain the building. They were supposed to sell it to somebody who wanted to buy it for a better price, to have a better life. But no, they corrupted everything. Now they're taking to their little, you know, Vatican castles over there in Italy or Portugal, or like, bro, just take your shit and go. Like, take your shit and go. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's crazy. So that's what I'm dealing with. Now I gotta figure out another place to look at, to try to purchase that isn't panic selling, trying to go back to Europe, you know?